Hello everyone, you're welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you a very simple tutorial on this beaded V-cut bag. It also comes with two magnetic buttons on the inside to help secure your items. So let's learn how you can make yours together. Let's go. You need some beads for this project, and I have these in size 8mm. I'll be using two colors for this, or you can use just one color, okay? You also need your fishing line, and today we're going to use 0.70mm. Then you'll need two pairs of magnetic buttons. I have already pressed the ends of these, okay? These are the regular ones. And lastly, you need your scissors. And that is all for the materials. Now let's get to work. Let us start with our beading process. We're going to cut out a length of line that would be comfortable for us to work with, okay? Then we're going to start working on the first row of our bag, and to do that, on the left hand side we're going to start with 4 beads. Once that is done, you're going to draw down 3 and cross both ends through the last one added. Then you draw that all the way down, and here you have your first ever ring. To continue, on both sides of the line you're going to add 1 bead each, one on the left and on the right. Then you're going to take one more bead and cross both ends through that bead, and here you have your second ring. One more time, one on the left, one on the right. Then you take one bead and cross both ends through, and here is your third ring. So this process is what we're going to keep up with until we get to our desired total length. My desired total length is 17, but I'm going to stop at 16. Why? Because the 17th one will be different. Let's do that. I'm here now and I have done 16 rings in total, okay? Make sure your work looks as straight as this. Like I said earlier, my desired length is 17, but we're here at 16. That means we have just one ring to go. This last ring is going to be different. Instead of one on each side and cross with one, it's going to change. So on the left hand side alone, I'm going to add a total of 3 beads. Then I'll drag down 2 and cross both ends through the last one I did. When I do that, to take me over to the other side of my work, just like this. And right now I'm done with the first ever row of my bag. This is what it looks like. It's now time to go over to the next row, that's the second row, and we're going to start a new row with 3 beads on the left hand side. Then we cross into the last one. Once that is done, the right will go through the next bead, and on the left we add 2 beads. Let's do that again. Right goes into the next bead, and on the left 2 beads. So far we have done 3 rings on the second row of our bag. We then keep up with this pattern, 2 on the left and cross into the last one. Keep it going until you get all the way down. I'll stop at the second to the last bead right here. Why? Because the last ever one will be different. Let's do that. I'm here now at the second to the last one. I will then complete it. On the left I add 2 beads and cross into the last one added. It's now time to complete the last ever ring on the second row of our bag. This time, firstly, the right will go through the next bead, but instead of the left hand side, I'm going to add the 2 beads on the right hand side alone. Then I cross through the last one, and this will take me over to the other side. And that concludes the second row of our bag. So right now I just taught you how to start a row and how to end a row. Now let's revise and go through this process one more time together. To start a row, we start with 3 beads and cross through the last one. Then the right will go through the next bead, and on the left 2 beads. We then keep up with this pattern of 2 beads until we get all the way down. We'll stop at the second to the last one where we're going to end the row together. I'm here now at the second to the last one. So to complete the last one, the right would go through where the next bead. Still on the right hand side, I will then add 2 beads and cross into the last one. And this concludes the third row of our bag. This process is very simple. This is the matting process. This is how we're going to keep building the rows of our bag. We're going to keep building the rows until we get to 11 rows in total, okay? This is all you need to know about this step. But then let's do the next row together, because like I said earlier, I'm using 2 different colors of beads for this. So the next row would have a change of pattern. To start the next row, I'll start with 1 green and 2 blue. Then I'll cross through the last blue added. To continue, the right would go through the next bead, and on the left I'll add 1 blue and 1 green. Then I'll cross both ends through the green. To continue, the right will go through the next bead, and on the left I'll add 2 blue beads and cross through the last one added. Once that is done, the right will go through the next bead, and on the left I'll add 1 blue and 1 green. So the pattern we're going to keep up with this row is going to be 2 blue, 1 blue, 1 green. Okay, 2 blue, 1 blue, 1 green. That is what we're going to keep up with until we get all the way down. So let's keep it going until we get all the way to the last ever ring. Let's go. I'm here at this last ever ring, so on the right hand side instead of the left, I will add 2 blue beads and cross through the last one added. And now I am done with the 4th row of my bag. So this is the step you're going to keep up with. Like I said earlier, we have done 4 rows so far. You're going to keep this going until you get up to 11 rows in total. Okay, 11 rows. Let's meet there. I'm here now at 11 rows. I have gone halfway through the body of my bag. This is how yours should be as well. It is now time for the next part. It's time to create the V-cut shape right in the middle of our bag. So remember earlier, we started with a length of 17 rings in total. That was the total length on the first row. Now that total length is what's supposed to define the width of our bag. The width of our bag is 17 rings, and 17 is an odd number. That will help us get a definite middle. So right now I'm going to count inwards until I get the middle of this. This place right here is the middle. Let's take note of that, okay? Now that we have defined the middle, we then go ahead to build slopes on each side, and that will form the V shape. So right there on the edge, I'm going to cut out some line. I will start building rows until I get to our limit. Our limit right now is the middle of this bag. You won't go past it. Pass your line through the first bead on the edge and start your row with 3 beads and cross through the last one. Then you keep up with your pattern of 2 beads until you get all the way to the 8th bead. Remember, the middle bead is our limit. Do not go past it. Let's go. I'm here now at the 8th ring and I have reached my limit. So that concludes the first row of our slope. It is now time to go over to the next row of the slope. This time around, I'm going to introduce something I call the reduction process. And how is that done? We're going to trace the pattern we just did all the way back until we get to the other side of the previous bead. Just watch and do exactly as I do. I'm done with that, and this is what it looks like. I'm now at the other side of the previous bead. Right where we are, we will then start the second row of the slope of our bag. We're going to start a new row with 3 beads, then we cross to the last one. Then we'll continue with our pattern of 2 beads until we get all the way down. Let's do that. I'm here now and I will end the row with 2 beads on the right hand side instead of the left. And we're done with the second row of the slope. To go over to the next row, you know the usual, we start with 3 beads, and we're going to bead this all the way down until we get to the second to the last one. Why am I stopping there? Well, this is the reduction process, and that means we won't go into that last bead, rather we're going to stop right here at the second to the last one. So let's do that. I'm here now at the second to the last ring right here, and this is where I'll be stopping because we are working with the reduction process. Over here, I would repeat the same step, trace back until I get to the other side of the previous bead. Just do exactly as I did, okay? Let's do that. After I'm done with that, I will then go ahead to create an extra row. Let's go. I am done creating the extra row. Over here, we have 5 beads pointing out right there. We have done 4 rows in total of our slope. It's now time to create the last ever row. And because I'm using 2 colors of beads, I want us to do this together. So on the left, I'm going to start with one blue, one green, one blue. Then I cross both ends through the blue. Once that is done, the right will go through the next bead, and on the left I add one green, one blue. Again, one green, one blue. One more time. And that concludes the making of one part of the slope of our bag. From here on, I will then end my line, so let's do that. I'm done building one side of the slope, and here is what I have. This is what yours should look like as well. With that, we're going to repeat everything we just did right now on the other side of our bag. Start from this bit right here on the edge, and remember the limit, okay? Do not go past that limit. So do this on your own. Let's go. I'm done with both slopes, and finally we have finished creating the V-cut shape on one side of our bag. It's now time to work on the next part. We have to create the handle of our bag. So right there at the top, I'm going to start a new row, bead all the way down to connect to the second part of the slope. I'll start a new row, pass my line through the first bead on the edge, and on the left start with 3 beads. Then I'll keep up with my pattern of 2 beads. So let's keep up with the pattern of 2 beads until we get to the end of this first part of the slope. Let's go. I'm here now at this first part of the slope, and right here the pattern is going to change. Instead of the usual 2 on the left and cross into the last one, the pattern will change to 1 on each side and cross with 1. Just like we did at the very first row of this bag. We're going to keep this pattern going until you get to the point of the second slope. So let's do that. I am here now and I have beaded all the way down. I think I have about 13 rings here in total. It is now time to connect this part to the second slope, okay? So to do that, the right hand side will go through the next bead, and on the left we add 2 beads and cross into the last one. We then keep up with this pattern of 2 beads until we finish this side of the slope. So let's do that. I'm done with that. Now right where we are, if your line is short, you can end it, okay? We want to go over to the next step, which is to add volume to the handle of our bag. As you can see, it's very light. It won't hold pressure at all, so we have to make it thicker, okay? We have to add volume to it. Now how do we do that? We're going to bead all around this handle. Firstly, we're going to start with 3 beads on the left and cross into the last one. Then the right will go through that next bead right there, and on the left we add 2 beads. Then we keep up with this pattern of 2 beads until we get all around this lane, okay, within this same lane of our handle. We're going to bead all around it until we get to the second to the last ring right there. Let's go. I'm here now. Let's go ahead to complete it. We complete it with 2 beads on the left and cross through the last one. We are now at this final ring, and over here is what we call a dead end. So our line will go through those 2 beads. Then we'll take just 1 bead and cross both ends of our line through that bead. Now we are done with that. As you can see, there's a gap in the middle of what we have built. The next thing we will then do is to try to fill in this gap. To do that, we're going to take this side of our line and pass it through those 2 beads right there. Then we take just 1 bead and cross both ends of our line through that bead. Now we have closed the first part. To continue, both sides of your line will go through the next beads on the sides, the right to the right and the left to the left. Then we take 1 bead to close that up. Let's repeat the same thing, the right to the right, the left to the left, and we take 1 bead to close that up. We're going to keep this going until you get all the way down. I'm here at the last ever one. Finally, I'm done closing the gap. From here on, I will then end my line. I'm done with mine and it's looking good so far. This is what yours should look like as well. It is now time for the next part. We want to build the rows of our bag right there on the side, okay? I have already taught you how to start and end the row, so you're going to use your knowledge of that to build 2 rows on the side of your bag. But start it from this flatter part. The part where it seems bulkier is going to stay in front of the bag, so you're going to start building from this part. Start from this first bead, that blue bead right there, that first bead on the edge, then you're going to bead all the way around. So let's do that. I'm done with mine. I have built the 2 rows on the sides. We then want to repeat everything we have done in another place, making it 2 sides in total. It is now time to join these 2 sides to make it a whole bag. We will start by cutting out some line, then you're going to lift up your work like this, making sure it's properly aligned. The next thing you're going to do is to take 1 bead and pass through your line. Then pass your line through those first beads on the edges by the side, okay? So the left will go to the left and the right will go to the right. Then you take 1 more bead to close that up. Let's do that again. Both sides will go through the next bead, the right to the right and the left to the left. Then you take 1 more bead to close that up. This process is very simple. This is what you're going to keep up with until you get all around this, and when you get all the way down, just end your line, okay? Let's meet all the way there. Let's go. Here is what mine looks like. It's looking good so far. We are almost done. We have just 2 more steps to go. It is now time for the next part. It's time to shape up the sides of our bag. Cut out some line, then take note of the number of rings on the side of our bag. We have 5 rings in total. Now we're going to locate the middle rings right there, that is the 3 rings in the middle right there, and pass our line through those 3 rings. Once that is done, you then take just 1 bead and cross both ends of your line through that bead. Press on the sides as well, and this is what you have. To continue, both sides of your line will then go through the next bead on the sides. The right will go to the right and the left will go to the left. Then you take 1 more bead to close that up. One more time, the right to the right and the left to the left. Then you close it with just 1 bead. And this is where we're going to stop. From here on, just end your line, okay? I'm done with mine. I have also repeated the same step on the other side as well. It is now time for the final part of this tutorial. It's time to add a magnetic button to our bag. Firstly, we have to locate where our magnetic buttons will be placed. So let's do that. From the first bead on the edge, I'm going to count 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. And that spot right there is where our magnetic button will be fixed. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to attach our magnetic button from the inside. So cut out some line, then we're going to start with the bottom bead of that ring we picked out. That bead right there, pass your line through it. Then you're going to take 1 part of your magnetic button and pass both ends of your line through the sides. Then you're going to see a hole by the sides. The left to the left and the right to the right. Once that is done, we then cross both ends of our line through the top part of that ring we picked out, okay? The right will go to the left and the left will go to the right. The last thing we will then do is to pass our line through the sides of that ring we picked out, just like this, to make it more secure. We're done with that. From here on, we will then end our line. This is what it looks like. We will then go ahead to repeat the same step on all corners of our bag. Remember, it's 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. So do that on your own, okay? I'm done with mine, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Hope yours looks the same. And that means we are done with our bag, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you'd like to increase the size of your bag, remember we started with an odd number, so you can either choose numbers like 19, 21, 23, and so on. You can also increase the size of your base by creating more than 2 rings on the side. Remember when we finished with the body of the bag, we did 2 rows extra on the side. So you can do 3 rows, you can do 4 rows, however you prefer, and that will make your bag appear bigger. Alright, thank you so much, and do not forget to share this video with your friends. Okay, I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Goodbye.